What's up, guys? My name is Coach Chris, and this is gymnast Robin, and we're going to be going over some of the stuff on bars to try to help you guys out. And this is going to be a little bit more in-depth to casting. Now, this video in particular is going to be just for you kids. Now, you can watch this with your parents, so maybe you don't really understand something, they can help you they can help explain it, or you can feel free to ask your parents to submit questions to us so we can try to do a little bit more videos to help you guys succeed more in classes on what you're not understanding necessarily from what the coaches are trying to get you to do. Now, before we start, it's really important, guys. I know you guys are going to do a lot of this stuff at home. You're going to want to try to get equipment and things. First and foremost, let's not do any of this stuff at home. Let's try to keep this in the gym, which means no pullovers on trees, no doing it on homemade bars, no casting on shopping carts, no cartwheels on the curbs or anything like that. Let's try to keep the training in the gym, okay, guys? So, before we begin, I'm just going to go over kind of the basic things that I feel that is necessary for your casting to succeed into the back hip circle, for you guys to be able to cast into a dismount or anything like that. Remember, in gymnastics, you're really trying to do things to lead up to another skill. It's very rare, unless it's a dismount, that the stuff is going to end, right? And then we always need to remember, too, on a key point, that there's always a beginning and a finish. So there's going to be positions, and when your coaches are explaining to this, let's just try to always understand that there's pretty much always going to need pointed toes, straight arms, and straight legs. Very rare are there a time in gymnastics when you're loose, have bent arms, bent legs, probably never going to have flexed feet. So let's just make sure that we're always focusing on that stuff, right? So let's jump into casting. Okay, go ahead, Robin, jump right up. So typically what tends to happen when kids are first learning, when you guys are first learning casting, go ahead and bend your arms. It's really hard to get yourself to get to a straight body position, right? And one of the things that I really want you guys to focus on is, number one, keep the elbows straight. This is gonna prevent you from doing casting and going into a back hip circle where your arms are bent like this, or you're gonna have a hard time circling on the bar. And really what helps you build the strength is being in this position a lot more. And I'm not gonna go over all the drills, but I am just gonna go over the positions that you wanna make sure. And then make sure too, with the elbows, that they're fully locked and the hands are here. A lot of kids, they may be going too much over grip, but it's really gonna put a lot of pressure on your wrist, right? And when we go over to the side stations, then you'll really understand how you're building the strength and the flexibility to be able to do that. So, go ahead, Robin. So what you wanna do first is not push up too high, and you don't wanna go down too low. You really want to be able to push where that you can go right off your hips, because what's going to happen with your body is you're going to be able to break in half. You see that? So like right at your hips, you're going to be able, and that's really what the position we want to be able to do. So when you're in this, you got to be really comfortable leaning and making sure that the legs are tight here. When you begin to cast, you want to keep your shoulders there. So you want, go ahead and just start swinging your legs, Robin. Small. See how our shoulders don't really move. They stay in this position with the elbows nice and tight, and we're pushing down on the bar. Once you're comfortable with doing this and you start to feel that your arms can stay straight, you're not doing this and you're staying in this position, next, start doing small casts, and your hips will start to come off the bar. And that's really what you want to feel. Go ahead and jump down. You just want to feel secure and know that you're comfortable leaning over the bar. You're not going to fall backwards. Your arms aren't bending, and your wrists aren't in a lot of pain either. So if you're having kind of a difficulty understanding on how your position can be, go ahead and get on the floor real quick, Robin. You can go to a floor bar, or you guys are sometimes going to just do it on the floor if there's not enough floor bars. So go ahead and do it. And today we're going to use a floor bar. So go ahead and put your hands there. What you really want to do on this one is you want to, when your coaches are talking to you and they're explaining a lot of the stuff that's in the lesson plans, what they're trying to get you to do is just feel comfortable doing this, right, and round back. And here at Gymnastics Elite, we like to focus on, if you can't do it slow, you can't do it fast. And if you can't do it in a drill, you can't do it in the skill. So these things are not to play around with, and they're definitely not to be taken lightly. The drills are going to end up in your skills. So if you do the drills wrong, they will be wrong in your skills, okay, on all of it. So right here, all their coaches are trying to really get you to do is make sure that your shoulders are over the bars, okay? And go ahead and do a push-up position. And the same thing here when they have you do this, making sure that you're looking at the bar here and making sure that your shoulders stay over here and your body is nice and tight, so that when you go into the air and your hips come off the bar, you're not loose. Because next comes a cast, next comes a dismount, next comes a back hip circle, next comes all these other skills. And if you're loose, you might go flying off the bar. So we need to make sure that we're really secure and tight. And your coaches aren't always gonna have to be able to come and push on you. So you really gotta do your job and make sure that your stomach is pushing to your back. See that? It's gonna push up to right about here. Your bottom is nice and tight. Your legs are nice and tight. You can even do it with pointed toes here and making sure, right? And you're comfortable. Okay, come back over here. And I'll show you how this drill is going to end up right here in this skill. Jump up there. So all Robin's going to do is make sure her shoulders stay there. Her arms are nice and straight. She's pushing on the bar. Go ahead and do a small cast. And when she goes to there, notice we're just doing the same thing. Now a lot of you, you're going to feel very uncomfortable going forward. And that's where you have to make sure that you're doing your job with the coaches and you're making sure that you're leaning over your hands and you're getting very comfortable on the floor before you try to come up here. And trust me, it's really common, but you really have to kind of just believe in yourself that you're not going to fall forward. As long as you're pushing on the bar, you're always going to stay on the bar. It's when you let go of the grip or you stop pushing is when it happens. So do a small cast. Now, if Robin was here and she stopped pushing, go ahead and start to bend your arms. That's when you get into trouble. So as long as our elbows are straight, leaning over the bar, our hips are nice and flat, and our legs are nice and tight, we can return to the bar to do another cast, or you can do back hip circle. Okay, go ahead. Do it by yourself. Cast back hip circle, and we're nice and straight, and we can finish, right? Good. Jump down. So those are pretty much the common problems that you guys are gonna have. Ask your coaches, what kind of drills can I do to fix my bent arms? What kind of drills can I do to help my wrist? Because there's a lot of pain when I'm doing this stuff. And we can make sure that the coaches are helping you guys as long as you're doing that. But if you're just not really trying to do it, you're not gonna get stronger. So you really have to, every time you take your turn or every time you're on a side station or you're conditioning or even if you're doing push-ups, guys, always go for that full extension and always try to make sure that you're focusing on what the bars are trying to do, which is you're trying to get the good lean, you're trying to get the straight arms, and you're trying to get the tight body as well too. So when you guys take it very serious, it's gonna transition into your skills as well too. Thanks for tuning in, guys.